Well, hello, baseball fans, and welcome to this edition of the Paul Kino Lamar Viking Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head Viking baseball coach Paul Kino. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a weird Monday. It's been dreary all day, overcast, and
It has.
and it's just I don't know what day it feels like, but it doesn't feel like Monday, but it definitely is. So anyway, hey, welcome to the playoffs.
Oh, I know. I mean, excited. Talked to the kids about it today. Told them I was excited and proud of them. I mean, they've earned this. They need to enjoy it. Go out and let's play well. Give ourselves a chance to advance. But most of all, you've ground. The district is the grind. You got the build up, trying to get better to where you need to be playing well when you get into district. Then that's the grind. That's all the
Yeah.
pressure. Now you're in the playoffs. It's time to relax. Just go out and be on. I don't want to say just relax and blow it off because that's not what I mean. But
Yeah.
the pressure's off. You're there. Go perform. Have fun. Enjoy it. Get after some people, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely so. And going to be facing a familiar foe because y'all took care of your business and didn't have to have a seeding game with Bowie, given
Oh
the new
yes.
large school, small school structure of things. You had that game lead or whatever over Bowie, and so y'all get to play a familiar foe, J.J. Pierce out of Richardson.
Yeah. We've played them two or three times in the playoffs. Kind of had went our way. Had some really good games, but we ended up coming up short. Tucker Isbell, you know,
Yeah,
2 outs in the seventh. And in my opinion, the umpire doesn't ring the kid up for the third out. Ends up getting a base hit. Things happen. They end up scoring and we end
I,
up tying the game.
and I still remember that game. Sorry to interrupt, but go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Last year, Colton Quesada threw a great ball game,
yeah.
and make a bad pitch call with 2 outs and two strikes on the kid in the seventh inning with runners at first and second, and the kid doubles to score both runs. They end up beating us 3-2. We're up 2-1. We're a strike away. Uh, Played really well against them. Last year they were a region finalist.
Yeah,
No, they're a if they win that series, they're playing in the final four in the state
that's
tournament.
amazing.
They graduated a lot of those kids though. They had a
Okay.
lot of seniors. They graduated, the stud lefty that threw game one against us. He went to Baylor, I believe. They had a kid, another right-hander who threw really hard, 93, 94. I believe he got drafted. So I mean, a lot of their pitching's gone. I mean, doesn't mean that they won't be good. We've scouted them, we know what they have. And they're a good solid baseball team, but they're not what they were last year.
Gotcha.
We got to go out and we got to play well. But we have a very, very good chance of, I think, of winning. I've told you before many times that I believe that when I choose my kids, when I step out on the field, I believe in my kids. I choose my kids, and I believe that we're going to win every single time we step out on the field.
And I hear you saying this without you using these words. You said it before, I believe. Coach Skinner said about football, fear none, respect all. And so go out there
Exactly.
and respect him, but don't fear him. There's no reason to.
No, if we go
Yeah.
out and we can play with anybody, we can beat anybody.
Heck yeah.
On the same tone as if we don't show up to play, we can be beaten by anybody. So I mean, I'm excited, and like I said, I choose my kids. I believe in my kids. I love my kids, and um, I trust them. I mean, that's I love them, and so I choose them.
Yeah. Hey, pitching gets to be a thing in the playoffs because it's kind of like going back to tournament days. You got to be ready to play 3 games this
Oh
weekend.
yeah,
Thursday, Friday,
oh yeah.
Saturday. And so, of course, you have your Tuesday and Friday starters that you use during district. But not only do you need someone else who can go out there and start if you need a game three, hopefully not, but you've got to have some depth. You got to have those relievers come in. Anything you want to say or share about the pitching situation, or you just keep that under your
No,
pocket in your pocket?
I'm not going to say who we're going to start game one or game two,
Sure.
or who we're going to look to start game three. But I do believe, we threw a lot of guys during tournaments, and honestly, they were young growing up, and that's what I talked to the kids about today. We faced some adversity early on in the year through injuries. We also faced some adversity because we had young kids learning how to play varsity baseball, and it is a step from playing JV to playing varsity. The game's finer, the game's tougher. Hitters are better,
Hmm.
pitchers are better. They're able to throw their breaking balls for strikes more. They're able to spot their fastballs. They play at a higher level than at JV, and that's why you're playing varsity baseball because it's played at a higher level than JV, and it takes a little while to get used to. And pitching wise, we might have thrown some fat pitches, a few more fat pitches in tournaments. where I think we've grown up and we've gotten better, better as hitters, better as pitchers, better understanding what it takes to play varsity baseball at a successful level. So, I mean, that's what I talk to the kids about. So, I mean, we're a totally different team than we were when we played tournaments. And I really feel that way. We're a more experienced team. So I don't have any problems with putting anybody on the mound, in any situation. I mean, obviously, we have some of the kids we like. I mean, would I like Colton Quesada on the mound every day? Yes, I would. I mean, but I mean, I have zero problems putting kids on the mound. I think, Colton McKay has come in and did a great job
Oh
against
my
us.
gosh, what a yeah.
Joe Bajanero has come in and done a great
Yep.
job. I think Ben Shryock has come in and done a great job. So I mean, I can go on. I can go on. Jacob Greco has come in and done a great job.
Hmm.
So whenever they've been called on, I think they've grown up and they've come in and they've gotten a lot better and they've come in and they've done a great job for us. So I think you're right. We do have to have depth, and I'm excited because I think we do have depth. I think we set up well to compete for a series.
I would agree with that. And this kind of takes us also back to your attitude and strategy in doing tournaments. Y'all go to tournaments and play tough teams early on.
Mm-hmm.
And you say this with the right perspective. Hey, that the record coming out of tournaments is not is that important.
No, it's not
And
important to
there are
me.
teams that go play not the toughest tournaments. They come out with bigger records, but they may not develop through those tournaments and through the season.
Well, and I talked to our kids about that today too, and I said, guys, I
Okay.
said, I said, that's we're going to play tough tournaments, and that's when I was telling them, we were banged up a little bit. We faced adversity. We've played really good people. And I said, guys, I said, I don't care about what my record is coming out of tournaments. I really, really don't. If I wanted to assure a 20 game or 20 win season, I would go put us in weaker tournaments where we could go beat up on people, or we could go 4-1 in a tournament or 5-0 in the tournaments. But that doesn't make us any better. That doesn't get us to where my personal opinion, it doesn't make us any better. It doesn't get us to where we need to go. We need to face tough talent. We need to face good pitching. Our pitchers need to face good hitters, and not people that they can just go out and dominate. And so we're going to take some L's sometimes in tournaments, and
Sure.
especially when we're young. I think next year going into tournaments, I mean, we're gonna lose some really good kids, some seniors, but we're also going to have a lot of starters coming back and a lot of starters with 2 years experience on the mound,
Yes.
and we should be very, very good in tournaments. Uh, you know, Grafton Owens should step up and play well for us. And I mean, he's played in a lot of varsity ball games this year, as a sophomore. So I mean, those kind of things they bode well for our future. So our record may look better next year coming out of tournaments just because we've had more experience. But other than that, I mean, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I thought the kids handled
Yeah.
it well. My biggest fear is when we're facing these good tournaments and we might be young or we might not have enough pitching, that our kids get their heads down and don't realize the big picture, like, because they're not adults, they're kids, they're still kids, and
Hmm.
realize the big picture of once we get into district, we're going to be okay, you know. And so that's my big worry a lot of times when we're playing our tournament games, because I put us in those kind of tournaments. And to be honest, I asked Coach Rabinskis, I said, do you think I need to maybe get out of a couple of these tournaments and maybe look for a tournament that might not quite be as hard? And and we talked about it a little bit, but I probably won't. I think that we can handle it. It's what I believe in. Uh, you got to go play good people.
Well, coach, I believe that you have a winning strategy there because how many years you've been head coach at Lamar? 21,
Yeah,
22.
this is my 21st year.
Okay. And I've known you for about 17 of those years doing announcing and broadcasting stuff. And how many years have you made it to the playoffs in those 21?
Well, 21 seasons, but one was COVIDed out. So this is the 20th year
Yeah,
of seasons that we could have
true.
made playoffs. I don't want to say I made it. We made the
Right.
playoffs 15 out of 20 years.
I'd say that's pretty darn good. And
Well,
that,
thank you. I mean, the credit goes to the kids out there who
well,
played for me.
I know, and you always say that, and we always go back and forth, and I'll give you some credit. But again, I think this says something about that strategy of playing those tough teams early on. And, once in a while you might have to take a whoop, and once in a while you may whoop someone else, and once in a while you got that one run game, but it sure builds up to what it is. And that includes the Saturday. extra non-district games
Mhm.
that y'all can get towards your max total with UIL when you
Yes.
play Ennis or Burleson or someone, and that's one more chance. And I think that's important sometimes because you got a Friday night game, then you got a Saturday game, and you got
Yep.
to come right back and play again like it's going to happen in the playoffs. So
Oh, exactly.
yeah,
You got to have that kid who's, you know, maybe played a position and he's your number three starter and he's got to get up, coming off, either a great win to extend the series or a loss to make it go 3 games. And you got that kid's got to get back up and get on the mound and compete. And we all got to get up and go compete.
definitely. Well, lots of excitement in the air, and coming
Oh
up
yeah.
Thursday, I believe at 7:30 p.m. over at
Hmm.
Pierce High School in Richardson is game one. And we've talked about this a lot. It's so important to get a big fan base out there and feel those
Oh yeah.
fans.
I mean, their fans are going to be electric. Like I said, we've played them 3 times. Yeah, they're going to be loud. Their bleachers are right on the fence. I
Yeah,
mean, right on the brick wall. I mean, they are going to talk to you, and they are going to try to get you out of your element and get you out of your routine and your mind frame. Um, so we got to get used to it. I didn't talk to the players about that today, but I'll talk to them about it tomorrow and
sure.
Wednesday. That it's gonna be, we talked to them about, the Arlington High environment, the Martin environment,
Yes,
and so it's going to be boosted up even more. And
definitely.
they're gonna have to be able to handle that. And I think we're in a good spot that they'll handle it.
Oh, definitely. So I believe so. And we will be there. I think Brent White and I will be doing a broadcast from Pierce.
Awesome.
We'll set up a table like we have in the past, kind of off to the side of the stands, right behind the backstop wall and everything. We're still working on getting our video thing going. Going to try a few more things this week to get it set up, but definitely we'll have audio, if not video, also. So people that cannot be there, please go if you can. But if you can't be there, anywhere around the world can listen in live. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Coach, anything else to add? Oh, well, I need to get game two will be Friday, 7 p.m. back at
And Lamar.
Lamar. And
Hmm.
then if a game three is necessary, neutral site Irving MacArthur, Saturday
Noon.
noon. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we'll take two in a row and don't have to
It would
play
be nice. It'd be
Saturday.
really nice. I mean, we've been pitching well. We've been playing good
Yes,
defense. That's what I talk to the kids about. Just keep doing the things that we've been doing. Battle at the plate, find a way to get things done. We've done that the whole season. Just extremely proud of these young men. Uh, uh, like I said before, I think uh, not trying to be put any other sports down, but I think I coach the best kids in our school,
I
and
know
they're
what you
just
mean.
incredible kids. And so just keep doing what we've been doing. And if we do that, we're going to be just fine.
Sounds great. Last call for anything else to add on, Coach.
Oh, just, every year, or every time we do this Booster Club, I mean, I know it's at the end of the season, but we got a banquet coming up. We've got a lot of
Yep,
different things coming up. So find a way to help the Booster Club. Find a way. It helps the kids. Like we said, you've said it, I've said it. You have a lot of people doing a little amount of things, and instead of little people doing a lot amount of things. So just anything, just try to help out. It all goes back to the kids. It helps the kids. It helps the program.
definitely. Well, I'm going to take, since you brought up Booster Club, I want to give a shout out to Eris Jackson. She had senior night so well coordinated.
Oh
It's probably
yes.
one of the smoothest ever from my perspective, and I know from some other people as well. And so thanks to her. And then I found out, oh, she does events coordination or something.
It
So
makes me feel a
it
lot
was,
better because me, I don't like any change to routine. So it always bugs me. I got to do a better job of late in the season getting a Saturday game. So we can do it on a Saturday instead of doing it on a Friday night district ball game or a
yeah,
Tuesday night district ball game because
that'd
it
be interesting.
it I don't I'm very superstitious when it comes to stuff like that, and I hate when the routine gets changed up. And so, anyways, that's just me. So
Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks for being open as always. Last call. Anything else to add?
no, like I said, but I
Okay.
do want to say senior night was fantastic. I
It
really do.
was. It really was. Lots of fun, lots of people showing up, and it's always great to see the family members escorting the
Oh
players
yeah, and it
on
was
the
like
third
you
base
said, it was put
line.
together great. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
All right.
But other
Well,
than that, I have nothing to say.
no,
Go
okay.
Vikes, go Vikes. Let's get a victory. Let's get 2 victories. Let's move
Let's
on
do
to the second round.
it. VFND. Well, until next time, we'll do this in a week and recap the first round of playoffs. I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking coach Paul Kino saying VFND.
Bye, everybody.